a long-house battle in Chicago 8 years before. Everyone's stunned by the fury of Lewis's attack.
What's happening, my people? It's Cast Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. Now, as usual, before we get started, let me give a shout out to the JBT community. It's just boxing talk. We're a group of people who just love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. And you don't have to have a podcast. The only requirement is you just have to love to talk boxing. That's all. Miss Cass, hashtag JBT, Mike Mazik. Salute to everyone. And welcome to another episode of Cast Sports, the Box Storian. Today, the life and career of Primo Carnera. And you know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Box Storian, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. How's everybody today? This is the Friday afternoon edition of Cast Sports, the Box Storian. Let me get the apology out of the way because I did it again yesterday. Never added myself to the show, so y'all was hearing was the music. How many times have I done that now? I mean, when people hit the link, you got to bring them up, but when the show starts, you got to bring yourself up first, and I did it again. But I'm on there today. But yeah, today is profile day. I see the little face in the corner by my logo. That tells me that I'm in the show. Okay, but yeah, won't happen again, I promise. Today is Friday. Tomorrow is the big one, David versus David. I guess the weigh-in is today. We're going to be talking about Primo Carnera today. Professional boxer, professional wrestler. He was with the circus for a time in his life. Mafia back boxer. He was an actor. Had some music written about him. Wore a lot of hats. Very colorful guy too. He was like 6'6", pushing 300 pounds at a time when the average boxer was like 6 feet, under 200. He was like Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua were type heavyweight, like 100 years before them. So yeah, we're gonna talk about Primo today. Good afternoon, Mike Rim. How are you today? Good to see you. We're gonna start out with our highlights of boxing history segment as usual. I'm gonna do the same one I did yesterday when nobody could hear me. Right? I was rolling too, man. It's gonna be we'll continue Monday with the 70s fights and fighters of the year, but today is going to be we're going to look at some of the greatest rounds in boxing history. Some of the greatest rounds, because, a lot can happen in them 3 minutes. We're going to talk about some of the greatest 3 minutes. Some of them didn't even last 3 minutes, right? But some of the greatest rounds in boxing history. But it's here. Who y'all got? David versus David. I got David B, as in Benavidez. Okay? I'm big on experience and, like the Jai Apatow and the guy that Jai almost took his head off a few weeks ago, Guy had 11 fights, in there against an experienced world champion. You got to let these prospects mature, you know what I mean? Get up to contender status, fight some other contenders. You can't go straight from prospect, but we'll see tomorrow. Okay, whether I have to eat some crow Monday. But I got David B. But the good thing about it, the fans win because this is a fight we wanted, and we getting it tomorrow. Okay, but now let's get into our opening segment, 2 to 2:30 every day. Highlights of boxing history. Thank you very much. Appreciate all your support. Okay, we got 12 of the greatest rounds in boxing history for the highlights of boxing history today. Okay, let's get into it because, like I said, a lot can happen in those 12 minutes. I mean, 3 minutes. 3 minutes. What am I talking about? A 12-minute round? Wow. Okay, let's talk about it. If I can find the first one. Wow, it's deep down there. Okay, yeah, here we go. The first one is Mike Tyson versus Michael Spinks. Round number 1. This was in 1988. Tyson versus Spinks. Okay, now this fight lasted barely half a round, 91 seconds to be exact. But enough drama to win Ring Magazine's Round of the Year award in 1988. And you can understand why if you saw that round. We had 2 undefeated heavyweights, each with a claim to the world title. Right? And the ferocious 21-year-old Mike Tyson walked through what was supposed to be his toughest test, bludgeoning Michael Spinks to the canvas twice in the first round, okay? Yeah, he just bludgeoned Spinks. It was bad. And Spinks never fought again after that fight. While Tyson became the baddest man on the planet and violently lived up to his billing. Yep. The next one is number 11. Andy Ruiz Jr. versus Anthony Joshua. The first fight between those two. This was in 2019. We're talking about round 3. Round 3. Melanin Queen 27 in the building. Salute Melanin Queen. How are you today? Al Booger in the building. What's up, AB? Good to see you. Al Booger and Melanin Queen. We're going to be talking about the meet and greet throughout the show. Melanin Queen will be putting all the information in there for us. The greatest moderator in the history of moderators. Salute Melanin Queen. Okay. Now the next one is number 11 is Andy Ruiz Jr. versus Anthony Joshua 1. We're talking about round 3, 2019. Okay. This was Anthony Joshua's U.S. debut, right? And it was going to plan when he blasted Andy Ruiz Jr. to the canvas with a left hook early in the 3rd round. Now, what was not in the plans was AJ getting caught going for the finish. And he was badly wobbled by Ruiz. He went down twice and barely survived the round. There was a shocking single round turnaround in a fight that ended with a tubby late replacement Ruiz taking Joshua's unbeaten record and took his world titles up off of him too. Right? And this was at Madison Square Garden. You remember that one? Andy Ruiz shocked the world. Put AJ had just wobbled him, and then Andy Ruiz caught AJ coming in for the finish, and AJ never recovered. Okay, the next one, some of the greatest rounds in boxing history. Muhammad Ali versus George Foreman. Okay, round number 5, the Rumble in the Jungle. This was in 1974. Sorry, I meant to do that over. Got my title a little crooked, but round number 5, that's what it was. 1974, Ali versus Foreman. Rumble in the Jungle. Now, the Rumble in the Jungle ended with Muhammad Ali stopping Big Bad George Foreman in round 8. But round 5 was when the fight swung in the 5th round. Ali had really got George Foreman pissed off by that round because he was talking trash to him the entire fight, talking about his mama, everybody. And Foreman came out in round 5. He was determined to kill Ali in that round. He was angry, and he spent the entire round swinging crude haymakers at Ali's head and body, battering the older man. But Ali stood up to all of it, right? And then 35 seconds left in the 8th, Ali sprung off the ropes and stung Foreman with lightning accuracy, sending him reeling, and the crowd in Kinshasa Zaire wild. Ali was shaking up the world once again, a decade after he did it the first time against Sonny Liston. And see, that was the end of round 5 right there. You can tell Foreman just gave everything he had in that round, and Ali didn't go anywhere, and Ali let them know too. Right, round 5, one of the greatest rounds in boxing history. Okay, coming in at number 9, we have the Brown Bomber, Joe Louis versus Max Schmeling 2. This was their second fight. We're talking about round 1, 1938. Had to be round 1 because that was the only round of the fight, right? Yeah, round 1, 1938. Now get this. Heavyweight champion Joe Louis's attempt to avenge his only defeat to Max Schmeling was loaded with intrigue, right? We had an African American fighting a German a year before the outbreak of World War II. And Joe Louis had put all kinds of pressure on himself because, When they fought the first time, neither one had the title, and Smelling stopped Lewis. And in between the first and second fight, Lewis had picked up the world titles. But he said, I had possession of the belts, but I cannot call myself champion until I do two things. Number one, get a rematch with Mike Smelling, and number two, beat him. So he didn't play with his food. In the ring, it was total brutality. Lewis jumped on Smelling in front of 70,000 screaming fans at Yankee Stadium, knocking him down 3 times. And he left the German with cracked ribs and 2 broken vertebrae. And get this, the fight lasted 2 minutes, right? Smelling spent 2 months in the hospital for a 2-minute fight. Okay, so that's like a month per minute in the hospital. 2 months in the hospital after this fight, after a 2-minute beating. So that had to be a beating, not a beating, a beating. Wow, I did not know that. 2 months in the hospital for a 2-minute fight, man. Incredible. Coming in at number 8, some of the greatest rounds in boxing history, highlights of boxing history. Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 1. This was the first fight. Round 12, 2018. You see Tyson Fury there sleeping, right? Now, the recovery that launched 100 memes. When fearsome puncher Deontay Wilder dropped Tyson Fury hard in the final round of their showdown, Fury looked out cold. No, he didn't look out cold. He was out cold. Look at it, right? Except Fury opened his eyes at the count of 5, and he was on his feet by the count of 9. And then he dodged Wilder's follow-up bombs with his hands behind his back, remember? And then by the end of the round, he was stalking and hurting Wilder. Now, the decision was a controversial draw, right? But round 12, all anyone could talk about was the way Tyson Fury woke up. Okay, that was incredible. The man was out cold. Nobody wakes up from a Deontay Wilder right hand, but Tyson Fury did it that night. Okay, coming in at number 7. Gotta have these two on any kind of list, talking about boxing. Eric Morales versus Marco Antonio Barrera 1. You know, they had the trilogy. This was the first fight. Round 5 of their first encounter in 2000. Now, you could include any one of these 3 fights. Any one of their trilogy could be. I mean, you could include any round of this fight, of this first fight. Any round could have been one of the rounds, greatest rounds in history. And they called this trilogy the Mexican Uncivil War between bitter enemies, Eric Morales and Marco Antonio Barrera. But the 5th round took an already gripping 122-pound clash to a new level as Barrera bloodied Morales' nose, right? Now Turbo came firing back with his own power punches, and the momentum shifted back and forth as the crowd reached a fever pitch. It was an astonishing mixture of will and skill that sums up what will become an epic trilogy. And this was just the beginning. Okay? This was just the beginning. Can everybody hear me today? I added myself today. Yesterday, I never added myself to the show, so yeah. Okay. Let me make sure, because I'm known to do that. I went all the way till 3 o'clock. Al Booker told me again. Testing. Yeah, I'm in there. I had to make sure, man, because I did the same highlights of boxing history yesterday, but nobody could hear me, so I'm doing it again. Okay, the next one. These are some of the greatest rounds in boxing history. Okay. And the next one is Riddick Bowe versus Evander Holyfield. This was the first fight of their trilogy, and it was round 10, 1992. Round 10. I guess the weigh-in is going on today, right? What heart by Holyfield, cried commentator Jim Ledley. After a Riddick Bowe uppercut had sent Evander flailing around the ring on rubbery legs, The real deal somehow stayed upright, survived Bo's onslaught, and by the end of the round was miraculously teeing off on Bo with hooks and uppercuts. Bo would get the decision in a war that sparked a memorable trilogy, but this round should have been scored 11-11 by all ringside judges. That was a great round. And this was round number 10. Okay? A couple more to go. And we're going to talk about Primo Carnera. This is highlights of boxing history. Some of the greatest rounds in boxing history. Next one. Big George Foreman versus Ron Lyle. Round number 4, 1976. Big George and Ron Lyle, 1976, round number 4. What happens when two giant heavyweights base their tactics entirely on rock'em sock'em robots? Okay, this is what happens. Big George Foreman and Ron Lyle's round 4. That's what happens. You get George Foreman's slugfest with Ron Lyle, containing a wall fourth round in which the mighty Foreman was battered to the canvas, then put down Lyle before the pair just winged hooks at each other until Foreman collapsed on his side at the bell. Yeah, Foreman just collapsed at the bell. He lucky it was the end of the round because Lyle would have got him up out of there. But then Big George looked cooked at the end of round 4. But somehow he recovered in between rounds and came back and stopped Ron Lyle in round 5. Incredible. Okay. You got to have these two, too. This is another great trilogy. Ward versus Gaddy. This was Mickey Ward versus Arturo Gaddy. The first fight, round number 9 in 2002. Round 9. That's the one where Arturo Gaddy got up from a liver punch. Who does that? When Arturo Thunder Gaddy sank to his knees after a savage body shot early in round 9, his face screwed up is the definition of agony. He got up, but he could not raise his fist, allowing Mickey Ward to bash his head. Yeah, Gaddy couldn't raise his hands up to protect himself, but he got up. On the verge of being stopped, Gaddy dug deep, bloodying Ward's eye and causing disbelief ringside. Momentum swung like the pair's blows, and the numbers at the end were scarcely believable. In this round, number 9, a total of 102 power punches landed in 3 minutes of utter carnage. Yup. And I think and then 2 more wars would follow, but nothing would top this one. And I think this was the fight where Ward told Gaddy when they were congratulating each other after the fight, Ward looked at Gaddy and said, "Now I know how it feels to fight myself." Okay, a couple more to go. We're going to get to Primo Carnera. Greatest rounds in boxing history. Jack Dempsey versus Angel Firpo. Round 1, 1923. And that's Jack Dempsey's feet. He's going to see him going through the ropes upside down. And that was just the first round, okay? Just the 10 knockdowns in round 1. 10 knockdowns in round 1, right? This was the days before the standing 8 counts or neutral corners. This is when heavyweight champion Jack Dempsey fought Argentinian the Bull, Angel Firpo. Dempsey scored more, but Firpo nailed the best, hammering Dempsey out of the ring and crashing into the press row just before the bell ended. Dempsey had 9 knockdowns in round 1. Firpo had 1, but Firpo had the best when he sent Dempsey out of the ring. Now, when Dempsey, it was right at the end of the round, okay? So when he got Dempsey up and he got to a stool, he asked his cornerman, "What round did he knock me out in?" Right? And his cornerman was like, "No, Jack, that was just the first round. The fight's still going on." Then Dempsey came back out in the second round and knocked Firpo out, okay? Knocked him down for the 10th time and finished him. Total of 11 knockdowns in 2 rounds. Dempsey had 10, Firpo had won, but Firpo had the best. See him knocking Dempsey through the ropes. That was definitely one of the greatest rounds in boxing history. 10 knockdowns in the first round, okay? Just the first round. Just a couple more. Coming in at number 2, Diego Corrales versus Jose Luis Castillo. First fight between those two. This was round number 10. This was 2005, okay? 2005. Now, this was the craziest ending to a fight boxing has ever seen. Jose Luis Castillo pulverized lanky bomber Diego Corrales to the canvas twice in round 10, right? All but ending the fight. A desperate Corrales spat out his mouthpiece twice, costing him a point, which seemed the least of his worries at that time. You gotta effing get inside on him, his trainer Joe Goosen yelled. So Corrales, eyes almost swollen shut, did just that, catching Castillo coming in and slamming him with hooks until the referee, Tony Weeks, stepped in to save the beaten Mexican on the ropes. Yeah, Corrales had him on the ropes, and Tony Weeks stepped in and stopped it. An unreal turnaround. You know, Corrales was just about stopped, but somehow he dug down deep, came back and won the fight. And of course, you know what number 1 is. I don't even have to tell you. Round of the year. Best round ever. Marvin Hagler, Thomas Hearns, round 1, 1985. 3-round fight of the year. Well, we had some great 15-round fights. Michael Spinks and Larry Holmes, 15-round fight was that year. This fight went over that. I think Hector Camacho and I forgot the guy's name. Oh, Jose Luis Ramirez had a 12-round fight that year. Barn burner. But this 3-round fight beat both of them for fight of the year. Marvin Hagler versus Tommy Hearns, round 1, 1985. Now, Marvelous Marvin Hagler walked around in fight week in a bad mood. He had a 3-letter word emblazoned on his baseball cap, and I think he had it on his back of his jacket too. W-A-R, war, okay? And Hagler was pissed off because many boxing figures were picking Thomas Hearns to beat him, right? To take his middleweight world title away from him. Hagler was pissed off. Hagler planned to fight fire with fire from the opening bell. Okay, that's exactly what he did. The hitman was never one to back down. So 2 all-time greats started at 100 miles per hour, and then they sped up after that, rocking one another with crisp, sublime power shots. Hearns was hurt, broke his hand in the first round. Hagler was barely cut. This is still the first round, gasped commentator Al Michaels. Now, Hagler would go on to win a 3-round adrenaline rush of a fight, but the first round set a new standard in jaw-dropping thrills. Yeah, that's probably the best fight, best round ever. Funk or Die. What's up, Funk or Die? Castillo Corrales 1 is the greatest fight I've ever seen in my lifetime. Yeah, that was a great one, Funk or Die. Salute, Funk or Die. We're going to be talking about Primo Carnera today. We always look at the life and career of a former boxer on Fridays. Primo Carnera today. Mafia back fighter, professional wrestler, was in the circus, was an actor, had a whole lot of hats. Primo Carnera did. Let's take a commercial break before we start, though.
Doing it again. Another meet and greet, this time in Brooklyn, New York, during the Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach fight week. Friday, February 28th from 8 p.m. until midnight. If you're planning on being in town for the fight, pull up on us at the meet and greet. Tickets can be purchased via Cash App at JBT Network 1. That's JBT Network 1. There is an early bird special for $20 from now until February the 1st. Then it's $30. That covers entry and food. There will also be a cash bar, so make sure you get your tickets early. Only a limited number of tickets will be sold, so make sure that you are in that number. Several door prizes will be given away. For more information, call 410-322-4365. That's 410-322-4365. And have a great JBT day. Brought to you by the JBT Curtis Sewell, Treasurer.
Thank you, Big Dre. Now, this is where I messed up yesterday. I think I was taking I was doing something with the commercial and I took myself out of the show before it even started. So yeah, I'm still in there. Yeah. Okay, I done did that a couple times. The life and career of Primo Carnera. Okay. How's everybody today? We got tomorrow is David versus David. Who y'all got? I got David B, man. I'm just like I said, I'm just big on experience, man, and Burrell, he comes out of that Cuban boxing background and everything, but he's still a just out of prospect status, I mean, he kind of like bypassing contender status. What he got, 11 fights? So, man, I think it's not going to be as bad as Apataya did his prospect a few weeks ago, but he might even make it the distance. But I got Benavidez pulling it out. But like I said, we the fans are the one that's going to win because this is one that we wanted, remember? And we are getting it now. I don't know why it's so dark in here. But yeah, we're going to go with the light. But yeah, the meet and greet is February 28th. You got today and tomorrow to get those tickets for $20. After tomorrow, they go back to $30. And you spend the 20, you get the same thing you get for the 30. Entry into the event, good food, got some door prizes, and that ticket automatically enters you into the running to win a ticket to the fight, the Gervonta Tank Davis Lamont Roach fight, right? That drawing will be done on February 21st, a week before the fight, to give you time to get everything together if you win it, or if you can't go, give me time to get the ticket through the mail, and yeah. Drawing February 21st. Still $20. You got the rest of today and tomorrow. Then it's back to $30. So no brainer. Just get it today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Something might happen. I might not see it till Sunday. Then I say, oh, you didn't send it till the 2nd. And then you don't be in. So then you be mad at me. So get it today to be safe, right? Melanin Queen will keep you aware of everything going on with it. Plus, you can get one chance to win a ticket to the fight for $10. Or the block special, 3 for $25, right? So, get the $20, come to the event, you get one chance, and then spend $25 more. You have 4 chances altogether. Right? Okay, no brainer. Let's get ready to talk about Primo Carnera. Okay. Primo and Joe Louis right there. This music comes up by itself. I turn it down and they say, I know it's back up. Watch. But how's everybody today? Appreciate you. Give me a couple hours out of your day. Hope it makes your day a little bit better. Definitely makes mine better. Spend this time with my peoples. Okay. Yeah, that's Primo and Joe Louis. They fought. Mm-hmm. We're gonna get to that. I don't know why I got it up there now. We ain't nowhere near that fight yet. You tell me. Okay, let's go. Primo Carnera, right? Italian. He was nicknamed the Ambling Alp, right? Italian professional boxer and wrestler. Now, he reigned as the boxing world heavyweight champion from June 1933 to June 1934. Had a 1-year reign, okay? He won more fights by knockout than any other heavyweight champion in history. He had the IBU, International Boxing Union title, the NBA, National Boxing Association, and the New York State Athletic Commission championship. Now, some of those knockouts were fighters taking dives. Okay. But, he still has the most. Never proven that anybody took a dive or anything. So, hey, I think it was like 72. That's for heavyweight because Billy somebody got like 130 something. Archie Moore's number 2 all time at 132, but he fought at light heavyweight and heavyweight. Primo has the most at heavyweight. Okay. Now, Primo fought at heavyweight his entire career. Italian American, called himself the Prime, the Amling Alp, the Gentle Giant, and the Vast Venetian. He was 6'6" tall. I told you he was back there at a time when heavyweights averaged like 6 feet, under 200 pounds. Most heavyweights fought like in the 190s back in those days, okay? Primo had a reach of 85 inches, fought out of the orthodox stance, and he had a total of 103 fights during his career, okay? And he won 88, he lost 14, and 72 knockouts. That's the most of any heavyweight champion in history. Any heavyweight in history, 72 knockouts. That's a record for the division. Let's take a look at Primo's personal life. Look at his personal life, okay? There we go. That's much better. I just got to make sure I hit the right buttons. Personal life for Primo Carnera. Now, he was born in Italy, right? It's got the exact place, but I can't pronounce that. Italy, okay? At the northeasternmost corner of the country. On March 13th, 1939, Carnera married Giuseppina Kovacic, a post office clerk from Gorizia, over there in Italy. In 1953, they received dual citizenship. They settled in Los Angeles, where Carnera opened a restaurant and a liquor store. They had 2 children, Umberto and Giovanna Maria. Umberto became a medical doctor, and Carnera died in 1967 at age 60 in his native town of he was back in Italy when he passed away. He died of a combination of liver disease and complications from diabetes. Okay, now let's get to his professional career. Primo Carnera. Okay, yeah. Now, he was touted in America as being 6'7", right? And thus the tallest heavyweight in history up to that point. Told you the average heavyweight back then was like 6 feet. So 6'7" was huge for a heavyweight. He fit right in nowadays. But he was actually 6'6", okay? Now he fought at as much as 275 pounds, okay? Now Jess Willard, who stood 6'7", he was another out of the ordinary. Jess Willard stood at 6'7". He was the tallest world heavyweight champion in boxing history until Nikolai Valuev came in. He was 7 feet and 328 pounds. Valuev was. Now, though Carnera was an inch shorter than Willard, he was 40 pounds heavier than Jess Willard. And he was the heaviest champion in boxing history until Nikolai Valuev came in, right? Valuev was over 328 pounds to be exact. Now, at a time when the average height in Italy, in his country of Italy, was approximately 5 feet 5 inches tall, and in the United States it was about 5'7". Carnera was considered a giant back around his time. Now he enjoyed a sizable reach advantage over most rivals he went up against. And when you see him on fight footage, he seems like a towering giant compared to many heavyweights of his era, who were at least usually 60 pounds lighter and 7 inches shorter than Carnera, right? One publicity release about him read in part, "For breakfast, Primo has a quart of orange juice, 2 quarts of milk, 19 slices of toast, 14 eggs, a loaf of bread, and half a pound of Virginia ham. And that's just breakfast." Okay? That's just breakfast. Wow. His size earned him the nickname the Amley Elk. Time magazine called him the Monster. Okay, now let's get into his career a little bit. Your Time magazine called him the Monster. Now, September 12th, 1928 was the date of Carnera's first professional fight. It was against Leon Sabillo. Yeah, that's too daggone dog, man. Oh, excuse me for a minute. 1 second. I know how to remedy that. My bad, maybe I went blind in here. I don't like go over here and turn that on. Yeah. See, I use my head for more than putting a head on it. Yes, I'm a genius. Okay, I'm back. Turn the light on over there. I don't get the glare, plus I can see. Okay. Yeah. His first fight, what did I say, was September 12th, 1928, right? He fought against his Leon Sabillo in Paris. Now, Carnera won by knockout in 2 rounds. He won his first 6 fights. Then he lost to Franz Diener by disqualification in round 1 at Leipzig. He got disqualified in the first round. Wow. Then he won 7 more fights in a row before he met young Stribling. Now, he and Stribling exchanged disqualification wins. Carnera won in the first and 4 rounds. Stribling got disqualified. Then in the rematch, Carnera got disqualified in round 7, so they exchanged disqualifications. In his next fight, he avenged his defeat to Franz Diener with a knockout in the 6th round. Okay, he was still living in Italy then. Okay. Then in 1930, he moved to the United States, where he toured extensively, winning his first 17 fights by knockout. First 17 fights in the United States by knockout. George Godfrey broke the knockout streak in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He lost to Carnera by disqualification in the 5th round. So Godfrey likely would have been a knockout too, but he got disqualified first. Okay? So, in 1932, Carnera faced the tallest heavyweight in history up to that point. Santa Camarajo, a 6'8" Portuguese fighter. Now, Carnera won the fight in a 6th round knockout for this 6'8" guy. Okay. So now, move on. That's him and Ernie Schaff. On February 10th, 1933, he knocked out Ernie Schaff in 13 rounds in New York City. Schaff died 4 days later. Schaff has suffered a severe beating at the hands of Carnera and knockout in a fight. Oh no! He after the fight with Carnera, he had suffered a severe beating and knockout in a fight with future heavyweight champion Max Baer 6 months before the Carnera fight. So that would relate that led to his partially led to his dying. Mixture of Baer and Carnera. You know, Baer was one of the hardest heavyweight punchers in history, and then Baer was one of the hardest heavyweight punchers in history, and then Carnera was a monster. So them two together, you know, Schaff ended up dying 4 days after he fought Carnera. And furthermore, an autopsy revealed that Schaff had meningitis, a swelling of the brain, and was still recovering from a severe case of influenza when he entered the ring with Carnera. Well, how did he even pass the pre-fight medical examination? Wow. Okay. So now Carnera is getting ready to become the world heavyweight champion. World heavyweight champion. That was against Jack Sharkey. There's him and Jack. For his next fight, Carnera faced the world heavyweight champion Jack Sharkey on June 29th at the Madison Square Garden, 1933, at the Madison Square Garden. Okay? Queens, New York. Carnera became world champion by knocking out Sharkey in the 6th round. He retained the title against Paulino Usgadun and Tommy Loughlin, both by decisions in 15 rounds. Okay? Won his first 2 title defenses. His next fight was Max Baer. This was the guy that died 4 days after he fought Carnera. He had fought Max Baer before he fought Carnera. That's Baer on the left, Carnera on the right. Okay? In his next fight on June 14th, 1934, against Max Baer, Carnera was knocked down multiple times in 11 rounds before referee Arthur Donovan stopped the fight. There's disagreement regarding how many times Carnera was knocked down, with sources given in conflicting totals of 7, 10, and 11, and 12. Now, the Ring magazine founder Nat Fleischer, who was ringside for the fight, he wrote that Carnera was knocked down 12 times and slipped once after a missed punch. Carnera also fractured his right knee, he fractured his right ankle in the fight. So the referee stopped the fight. He lost to Max Baer. Now, a statue of the defeated Carnera won the Prix de Rome first prize in 1934. It was by Albert Bocchiglia, made a statue of it. Now, after that loss, Carnera won his next 4 fights, 3 of them as part of a South American tour that took him to Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay, as well as 2 exhibition fights on the South American continent. But on June 25th, 1935, he went up against the Brown Bomber, Joe Louis. Yeah, that's him and Joe. And he was knocked out in the 6th round by Joe Louis. Okay? So then, for the next 2.5 years, he won 5 and lost 3 of 8 total fights. In 1938, Carnera, a diabetic, had to have a kidney removed, which forced him into retirement by 1944. And his record was 89 wins, 14 losses. His 72 wins by knockout made him a member of the exclusive club of boxers that won 50 or more fights by knockout. Okay? Yeah. This is a little short, but I got some more stuff coming up. We're gonna look into the mafia and stuff today too. Now, Carnera's legacy in boxing. Okay, his legacy, and let's look at his legacy in boxing for Primo. Next week is Riddick Bowe. The profile next week is Riddick Bowe. Legacy in boxing for Primo Carnera. Carnera was the 3rd European to hold a World Heavyweight Championship after Bob Fitzsimmons and Max Schmeling, the German. Only the 3rd one, wow. He would be the last until Ingemar Johansson claimed the title against Floyd Patterson in 1959, over a quarter of a century later, because remember that was like 1934 when he had it. Wow, over a quarter of a century later. Carnera was also the first boxer to win the European heavyweight title and subsequently become world heavyweight champion. First one to do that. Win the European championship and the world heavyweight championship. Carnera's 1933 title defense against Tommy Loughlin held the record for the greatest weight differential between 2 fighters in a world title fight. 86-pound differential. Carnera outweighed Tommy Loughlin by 86 pounds of that fight, and that was the biggest weight differential ever in a championship fight, right? And because Carnera was like 270 something, and Loughlin was at the usual 190 something that the average heavyweight was back at that time. Incredible. Incredible. 86-pound weight differential. And that record held for 73 years until the reign of Nikolai Valuev, the 7-footer who was 300 pounds. He owns the current record because when he fought Monty Barrett in 2006, he outweighed Barrett by 105.5 pounds. Remember, because Valuev weighed over 300. 105.5 pound weight differential between those two fighters, and that's the record for the largest weight differential between two fighters. Valuev also broke Carnera's record of 270 pounds to become the heaviest world heavyweight champion in history, weighing as high as 328 pounds during his reign. Now, Carnera still ranks as the fourth heaviest behind Valuev, Tyson Fury, and Andy Ruiz Jr. Over 80 years after he held the title, he's still number 4. Okay? Still number 4. Carnera's 1933 title defense against Paulino Uscadun in Italy was the first heavyweight title fight to be held in Europe since Jack Johnson's title defense against Frank Moran in Paris in 1913. It would be the last such occasion until Muhammad Ali defended the title against Henry Cooper in London in 1966, over 30 years later. First heavyweight fight in Europe since Primo did it in 1933. Muhammad Ali, Henry Cooper, 1966. Carnera Uscadun was the first World Heavyweight Championship fight to be contested between two Europeans. It would be another 60 years when Lennox Lewis defended the WBC heavyweight title against fellow Englishman Frank Bruno in 1993. That took place again, two Europeans. Wow. And him and Uscadun, that was in the 30s too. Yeah. Another 60 years, 1993, when Lennox Lewis and Frank Bruno met. Carnera's 72 career knockouts is the most of any world heavyweight champion. Okay. He had the IBU, International Boxing Union, during his career, the National Boxing Association, which became the WBA, and the New York State Athletic Commission. The NBA and the New York State Athletic Commission was the two big major sanctioning bodies of that period. Okay. His long-term manager, Leon C., noted how Carnera could not absorb a hard punch on the chin, prearranging with opponents and sparring partners not to hit him on the chin. You know, yeah, he was mafia back, so they prearranged not to get hit on the chin. We're going to cover that in a minute. His management team took the vast majority of Carnera's earnings, leaving him with practically nothing after he retired. Okay? And he also had an acting career. We're not going to get into that too deep. Okay? He played in some movies with other boxer Max Baer, who was also an actor. Yeah, we're not going to cover that, but he was an actor. Okay? And he also was a professional wrestler for a while. In 1945, he temporarily returned to boxing and won 2 fights. But the next year, after 3 losses against Luigi Mussina, his talent for wrestling was discovered. In 1946, he became a professional wrestler and was immediately a huge success at the box office. For several years, he was one of the top draws in wrestling. Carnera continued to be an attraction in wrestling into the 1960s. Max Baer, former professional heavyweight champion, attended at least one of Carnera's wrestling matches. Carnera won his wrestling debut against Jules Strongbow in Wilmington, California on August 20th, 1946. 2 days later, he defeated Tommy O'Toole at the Grand Olympic Auditorium before 10,000 fans. On October 23rd, 1946, Carnera won his 41st consecutive wrestling match by defeating Jules Strongbow. On November 19th, 1946, Carnera beat Harry Kruskamp. to remain undefeated at 65-0. He won 120 straight wrestling matches, undefeated, before suffering his first loss to Yvonne Roberts in Montreal, Quebec, Canada on August 20th, 1947. His greatest victory in wrestling took place on December 7th, 1947, when he defeated former World Heavyweight Champion Ed Strangler Lewis. In May 1948, Carnera took a 143-1-1 record against World Heavyweight Champion Lou Thesz. Thesz defeated Carnera in a world title defense. Now let's look at the mob influence and suspicious matches, okay? Because he was suspected to be mob affiliated, but never proven, okay? Those 72 knockouts, that's the most in heavyweight history. A lot of them suspected of being fixed, but again, never proven, okay? Mob influence, suspicious matches. Now, according to boxing historian Herbert Goldman, Carnera was very much mob controlled. His contract was purchased by mobster Oni Madden after Carnera's arrival in New York in 1930. He had just moved here from Italy in 1930, remember? And they say he was already a boxer, and they say his contract was purchased by this mobster, Oni Madden, as soon as he got here. Now, Abe Attell was brought in to train Carnera. And Attell had been caught up in the Black Sox baseball scandal, okay? So Attell was a noted shady guy as far as sports went. Now, however, Attell was acquitted when he successfully convinced the jury that he was the wrong Abe Attell. Okay, yeah, okay. He said he was the wrong Abe Attell, but still a shady character. Now, Carnera met his first serious heavyweight contender, young Stribling, in 1929 and won when Stribling fouled him. In a rematch, he fouled Stribling, each scoring a victory by disqualification. Commentating on the unsatisfactory conclusion of the two fights, sports writer Robert Egrin commented, "Stribling seems to be playing Carnera the way he has played a lot of palookas and stablemates at different towns in the sticks in this country. Always the return engagement." Okay? In January 1930, against Big Boy Peterson, Carnera won easily in the first round. The New York Times noted the absence of betting on the outcome, causing skepticism prior to the match. Peterson was counted out while punching himself in the jaw. Okay? Whether to make sure he was knocked out or in an effort to restore his jarred senses could not be ascertained. Boxing Commissioner James Farley, watching ringside, was not altogether satisfied with the contest, but did not launch an investigation. 1 week later, against Elzer Rio, the fight lasted only 47 seconds, and Rio was down 6 times in 47 seconds. Bob Sonderman of the Chicago Tribune reported, "Rio didn't do much fighting, being too intent on doing what he had been hired to do." He said Rio didn't do much fighting. He was too intent on doing what he had been hired to do. In other words, being paid to lose. That is making sure he fell to the canvas at the slightest provocation. Now, they did an investigation on this one. After an investigation by the Illinois Boxing Commission, cleared Carnera, but fined Rio $1,000 and revoked his license. In March 1930, Primo Carnera faced George Trafton in Kansas City. Now, Trafton was knocked out by Carnera in the first round of their fight. In the aftermath of the fight, the Missouri Boxing Commission suspended Trafton, but laid no blame on Carnera. And it's rumored that Carnera didn't even know he was mafia back. He thought he was like that. The man didn't even know the mafia people was taking dives against him. He thought he was that good, okay? Because they had these investigations, but the blame was he never got any blame or anything. So he didn't know. Now, Carnera's April 1930 fight against California club fighter Bombo Chevalier ended when one of Chevalier's seconds, Bob Perry, threw in the towel. Although it appeared to all that the boxer was in no worse condition than Carnera, right? The fight was found to be fixed. Now, Carnera's purse was initially withheld, but his opponent's wife, Mrs. Chevalier, told them her husband had been approached earlier to agree to a fake fight, but that he had directed all business to his manager, Tim McGrath. Oh, his wife snitched on him. Man. McGrath declared he had no knowledge that Perry was going to throw in the towel, and that the towel should not have been thrown in. Chevalier also stated that Perry had rubbed him with a sponge that caused his eyes and nose to burn. They tried to blame it on the corner man, right? But the man's wife admitted he had been approached to throw the fight, okay? In May 19, but again, no blame was put on Carnera, okay? Now, in May 1930, the National Boxing Association suspended Carnera. His June 1930 match against George Godfrey was controversial before it began. Seconds were forbidden from throwing in the towel, okay? Seconds were forbidden from throwing in the towel. Godfrey was disqualified in the 5th round when he was clearly getting the better of Carnera. So the referee was in on that one. In the aftermath, Godfrey lost his boxing license and half his purse. Carnera was cleared. What happened to the referee? Because Godfrey got disqualified, so the referee had to disqualify him, right? But again, see the significance? Carnera was again cleared. So, and I heard a rumor that this man really didn't engage in the fixed fights. They always said he was mafia-backed, but it was always the other fighter who the mafia approached. Because you can see each time Carnera was cleared. And they said he didn't know those fights were fixed. Time magazine in the October 5th, 1931 cover story on Carnera before he won the heavyweight title commented on his odd career. Since his arrival in the U.S., backed by a group of prosperous but shady entrepreneurs, Carnera's career has been less glorious than fantastic. His first opponents, Big Boy Peterson, Alzerio, Cowboy Owens, were known to be incompetent, but their feeble opposition to Carnera suggested that they had been bribed to lose. Suspicion concerning the monster's abilities became almost universal when another adversary, Bombo Chevalier, stated that one of his own seconds had threatened to kill him unless he lost to Carnera. One of his own corner people threatened to kill him if he didn't lose to Carnera. Against the huge, lazy, admirable George Godfrey, Carnera won on a foul. But only one of 33 U.S. opponents has defeated Carnera. Fat, slovenly Jimmy Maloney, whom Sharkey beat 5 years ago. In a return fight at Miami last March, Carnera managed to outpoint Maloney. Okay? So there you have it. Primo Carnera. Okay? Let's take a commercial break, and then we're going to talk about the mafia in boxing.
And another meet and greet, this time in Brooklyn, New York, during the Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach fight week, Friday, February 28th from 8 p.m. until midnight. If you're planning on being in town for the fight, pull up on us at the meet and greet. Tickets can be purchased via Cash App at JBT Network 1. That's JBT Network 1. There is an early bird special for $20 from now until February the 1st. Then it's $30. That covers entry and food. There will also be a cash bar, so make sure you get your tickets early. Only a limited number of tickets will be sold, so make sure that you are in that number. Several door prizes will be given away. For more information, call 410-322-4365. That's 410-322-4365. And have a great JBT day. Brought to you by the JBT, Curtis Sewell, Treasurer.
Okay. Yeah. But Primo really didn't know his fights were fixed because he thought it was that good because it was he never got suspended. One time they temporarily took his purse, but he ended up getting it. And it was always the other fighter losing their license, always the other fighter getting suspended. Yeah, Primo really thought he was that good. Now, since, now the Mafia was managing him and stuff, but they would always go to the other guy to take the dives and everything. So let's look at a little bit about the Mafia in boxing, okay? Let's do that. But yeah, the meet and greet is February 28th again. And if you're not doing nothing that weekend, pull up. Oh man, I had to refresh the chat and missed a lot of people. You find only one, what's up, bro? In the building. Your Melanin Queen is keeping you aware of everything that's going to be going on. She got that link in there. You can hit that link and go straight to the Cash App and up to $20 in. $20 till tomorrow. Salute to Fine Arnie 1. Ken Saw Love 1. Jarrell Hattie. I'm sorry I missed y'all. I was my chat was stuck in one spot and I didn't refresh it. Ken Saw Love 1 with the super chat again. Ken Saw Love 1 gonna have me rich in a little while. Appreciate you, Ken Saw Love 1, with another super chat. Ken Saw Love 1. Appreciate you, Ken Saw Love 1. Let's talk about the Mafia for a little bit. The Mafia in boxing, okay? Trying to get up here. There we go. Got some little pictures of some mafiosos. See? Yeah. Got some pictures of some mafia people. See him? Move all that junk out the way. See him? Serious mafioso there. Move my Cash App back up there. Somebody might want to drop a little something on me. Yeah, salute Jarrell and Ken Saw Love 1. Let me get to my little Mafia article. Yeah, everybody ready for the biggie tomorrow. David versus David. I got David B. I told y'all. Salute to Fine Arnie 1. Always good to see. That's our representative down there in Puerto Rico, right? He brings us all the fights down there. And did a great job on his first one. Sure did. Looked like a seasoned 20-year vet at interviewing fighters, man. Okay, yeah. Take a little look at the Mafia in boxing. Okay. Talk about some fighters they controlled or tried to control. Everybody didn't knuckle under to him. Sugar Ray Robinson didn't. And got no ill will from it. Sugar Ray just had to wait a little bit longer for his title shot, but he eventually got it. A lot of times boxers, when it gets the Mafia, you might get hurt. Might lose more than a fight. Might lose your life. But let's talk about him. Bare knuckles. We're going to do a show on bare knuckles eventually, too. Okay. Mafia involvement in boxing. What that's about. Now, beginning in the late 1930s, notorious New York Mafia hitman Frankie Carbo, later known as the Czar of Boxing, began managing fighters, okay? Late in the 1930s. I'm trying to find this. to this lamp. I'm gonna have to change back to my old lamp, man. Yeah. He began managing fighters in the late 1930s, right? Mostly lightweights, welterweights, and middleweights. And he began managing them for the sole purpose of exploiting their talent for his own personal gain. Now, throughout the 1940s, Carbo, with the help of fellow gangster Frank Blinky Palermo, who was able to legally obtain a license, allowing him to manage fighters and promote events, despite his lengthy criminal background, right? He used their mob connections to intimidate fighters and managers into taking generous percentages of fight purses and throwing fights for betting coups. The most infamous incident of the decade happened in 1947 when middleweight contender Jake Raging Bull LaMotta lost by technical knockout against Billy Fox, whose stellar boxing record could only be attributed to his manager, Palermo. Because let me tell you about Billy Fox. He was knocking everybody out, winning as under mafia influence. But once they got the mafia out, he had to go out there on his own talents. He had 13 more fights. He went 5-8. Okay, so yeah, clearly the mafia was making a difference in his career. Now, yeah, his stellar boxing record could only be attributed to his manager, Palermo. At this juncture in history, the mafia heavily controlled the boxing world. So LaMotta felt that his only shot at the middleweight title was to capitulate and give in to their demands, which also included a payment of $20,000, which is roughly about $200,000 in today's money. So he got $200,000 in today's money and a promise for a title shot. And then LaMotta then threw the fight against Fox, something he also admitted to doing long after his retirement. He was one of the boxers that was instrumental when the Fed stepped in. He testified before Congress and admitted that he was paid to throw that fight and promised a title shot. Yeah, Jake came clean. However, due to suspicious betting activities reported by bookies and a horrible acting job by both fighters, Jake and Billy Fox, the New York State Athletic Commission suspended LaMotta's boxing license and withheld both fighters' winnings. Neither one got their purse because LaMotta had threw the fight, right? So and it was very suspicious, a bad acting job by both fighters. So the New York State Athletic Commission withheld their purses. LaMotta eventually took advantage of an earned title shot 2 years later, defeating Marcel Cerdan by knockout in the 10th round. Fox, on the other hand, was no longer being managed by Palermo, and he ended up losing 8 of his next 14. I said 38 of his next 14 fights, getting knocked out 5 times in the process. Okay, so when the mafia got out, yeah, he didn't have any talent at all on his own. Billy Fox didn't. Now, throughout the 1950s, Carbo and Palermo clandestinely held major control over who fought, who was deserving of title shots, and even who would be the winner of the championship fights. The organization was so corrupt that there were times when even the judges called the fight for the fighter who clearly lost, even had the judges under their control, as was the case when Tony DeMarco was ruled a winner against Carmen Basilio for the middleweight world title. And Basilio was eventually granted a rematch and took matters into his own hands by knocking out DeMarco this time. And Basilio also was instrumental in his testimony in the 1960s before Congress. He was another one. It was him, Jake LaMotta, Ike Williams. All 3 of their testimonies was instrumental in getting the mafia out of boxing. Okay. Ike and Jake were actually managed by the mafia. Carmen wasn't, but he was in a fixed fight against him. Okay? Yeah. So the mafia's influence was an open secret in the boxing world, but the financial toll that many cities would have experienced by shutting out the IBC, that was the International Boxing Club, that organization was run by the mafia. And the financial toll many cities would have experienced by shutting them out prevented anyone from publicly speaking out against them. Yep. Nobody would speak out against them. Now, the walls began closing in on Carbo and Palermo in the late 1950s when California promoter Jackie Leonard reneged on a deal. This is how the feds start closing in. California promoter Jackie Leonard reneged on a deal that was made with Carbo. Leonard was brutally attacked with a lead pipe outside his home one night and left hospitalized. The attack galvanized efforts by the California State Athletic Commission, who seek the help of various state and federal law enforcement agencies. After a lengthy investigation, Carbo, Palermo, and others were arrested over charges of extortion and conspiracy. Like I was saying, Carmen Basilio provided the court with important testimony that was instrumental in the conviction of both Carbo and Palermo. Okay? The two were sentenced to prison for 25 years and 15 years, respectively. Okay? Yeah, Carbo, Jake, and also Ike Williams' testimony was instrumental. Now let's look at some of the fighters that were affected by them, that were involved in the mafia. When the mafia was controlling boxing. Let's look at some of the fighters. Okay. Be with you in a moment. There we go. There we go. Box Raw. Wait, yeah, there it is. There we go. Okay. That's what I was looking for. First one going to be Sugar Ray Robinson. He never knuckled under to their demands, but Sugar Ray had that personality where he got away with it. A lot of fighters would have been in trouble going over disobeying the mafia like Sugar Ray did. Yeah, they sure would have. Okay, Sugar Ray Robinson turns down the mob. Okay, yeah, Sugar Ray turned them down. Hope everybody's enjoying the show today. Next Friday's profile is going to be Big Daddy. No, not Riddick. Did we do Riddick Bowe? I think we did do Riddick Bowe. I got to check and see who it is, because we did Riddick Bowe, right? Yeah. For 1 second. Let me check real quick. Bear with me for 1 second. Yeah, we did Riddick Bowe. I remember now. I don't know why. Why do I always do this? Check after this. Who was today? Oh, okay. We got a good one next week. Yeah. We did Riddick Bowe. Yeah. Next week's profile is James Lights Out Tony. James Lights Out Tony next Friday. Don't miss that one. That's going to be a good one. I bet when Ant find out, Ant be here. That's his fighter there, James Lights Out Tony. If you're listening, Ant, James Lights Out Tony next Friday. Okay. Sugar Ray Robinson turns down the mob. Okay? Yeah, Sugar Ray turned them down numerous times and got away with it. He just had to wait a little bit longer for his title shots, but he got them and suffered no kind of ill will from him. Better known as the greatest fighter in boxing history, ensures a great level of respect, right? Sugar Ray Robinson's standing in the sport during his era afforded him this from peers and fans, but more importantly, from mobsters who ran boxing. Despite typically not taking no for an answer and being used to getting their own way, sharp-suited mob members saw several offers to to throw fights turned down by Sugar Ray, right? The former welterweight and middleweight champion received several offers he wasn't expected to refuse throughout his Hall of Fame career, with the most notable coming on the eve of his St. Valentine's Day Massacre victory over six-fight rival Jake LaMotta. Robinson rejected a phone call proposition of fixing the fight from a Mr. Gray, the alias of Murder Inc. hitman Frankie Carbo. Mr. Gray was Frankie Carbo's alias. He called Sugar Ray Robinson the night before the fight with Jake, trying to get him to throw it. Now, fortunately for him, the only blowback from his decision to persistently turn down the mob was a delayed initial world title shot, as he opted to pursue success alone without the influence. Because see, if Peter took that offer and threw the Jake fight, he would have got his title fight sooner. So he had to wait a little bit longer for it. Sugar Ray said, I'd rather get it on my own. Because once you do it one time, they got you then, you know? Such a daring move often spelled the end of a fighter's career, or even worse, could be the end of his life, right? But Robinson's aura and overall greatness was a decisive factor as he boldly turned down the mob without any serious consequences. Yep, Sugar Ray. Let's talk a little bit more about Jake's affiliation with the mob. Jake LaMotta, okay? Jake LaMotta's fixed title dealings. Now, while Sugar Ray Robinson's reputation afforded him safe refusal of the mafia, his greatest rival, Jake LaMotta, simply couldn't turn him down. The Bronx Bull, or the Raging Bull, was one of the most mob-connected fighters in history, with his criminal ties working both in his favor and against him at different points of his famous career. Now, the most prominent deal came when we talked about Hitler's 1947 fight with Billy Fox, when he agreed to throw the fight in return for a title shot and $20,000, which is $200,000 in today's money, right? So, and he had recently beat Sugar Ray Robinson himself, right? And that made Jake a huge betting favorite in the lead up to his fight against Fox. But all of a sudden, the odds drastically shifted to Fox, dubiously becoming the front runner just hours before the fight. That looked kind of suspicious because the mafia was involved in it, right? Adding further to the suspicions, bookies were only taking wagers on LaMotta just 3 hours beforehand. And when the fight began, Jake didn't look like himself at all, being pushed back and tamed by Fox. Jake LaMotta never got pushed back, and the referee called a halt to the fight in the 4th round. Yeah, that was very suspicious. It was evident something wasn't right, and New York State Athletic Commission noticed. They suspended Jake indefinitely, and the truth eventually came out in 1960, where Jake took the stand in a key witness testimony in front of Congress against the mob. And Jake suffered no ill will. Jake lived to be like 90-something years old, almost 100, I think. Yeah, he lived like 30 years after that testimony in the 60s. Because that was after his career. Yeah. Yeah, in the investigation, Jake admitted his involvement in fixing the Fox fight, but unusually, it wasn't for money. He actually coughed up he got $20,000, right? But the big thing was to get the championship shot. And his deal was met in 1949 when he was finally granted the opportunity to fight champion Marcel Cerdan, which he won fairly. But it was LaMotta's brave testimony years later that signaled the end of the mob ruling of boxing, risking his life to reveal the truth and help bring them down. And Jake lived, I told you, almost into his 90s. So they didn't get him. Sonny Liston. Okay. The mysterious mafia ending of Sonny Liston. Mysterious mafia ending of Sonny Liston. Let's talk about that. Sonny Liston was one of the most feared and intimidating heavyweight champions in history. But even he couldn't resist the advances of the mob, right? Of the monster underworld. Sonny was the 24th of 25 children in his household, growing up in poverty. He was sent off to work at 8 years old and eventually steered away from education to find a life of crime, okay? Now, it was a 2-year prison stint for armed robbery that became a blessing in disguise. As Liston discovered his physical attributes and 15-inch fists could be used to earn a living in the ring instead of on the streets. He learned that in prison, okay? Your Sonny was a bad man, too. This one guy that knew Sonny told this story. He was on Bruce Gass's show. He said when Sonny was in prison, some of the black inmates was getting picked on, right? And Sonny went to some of the other gang leaders and told them this had to stop. So they had a place under the prison in the bowels where you could go fight at, you know, wouldn't be bothered, you could fight it out. So Sonny went down there with 2 of the other gang leaders, right? Sonny walked out, the other 2 gang leaders got carried out. True story. Okay. Now these mobsters, mainly Frankie Carbo, exploited the eventual heavyweight champion for his income and reputation. Liston even worked as an enforcer for his handlers and was pictured with London's infamous gangsters, the Cray twins, through his connections, right? And the most infamous moment in the ring came in the second defeat to Muhammad Ali, formerly Cassius Clay, with claims that Liston threw the rematch due to the influence of the mafia. Now, Liston's undisputable links ultimately caught up to him in 1970 when he was found dead by his wife under suspicious circumstances. His corpse was discovered alongside a small bag of marijuana, a bottle of vodka, and fresh needle marks, despite being well known to be terrified of needles. And they tried to say somebody came in and tried to clean their apartment up, but they left a bag of marijuana and some heroin on the counter in the kitchen. Wouldn't that be the first thing you clean up? Now, the autopsy ruled that Liston died of lung congestion and heart failure, natural causes. But his tragic demise remains shrouded in doubt over the links that continuously plagued his troubled life and career. Sonny Liston. And we talked about Primo Carnera, so yeah, we're going to bypass him. And finally, Ike Williams. He was managed by Carbo. Ike Williams, but he takes on the gangsters. They managed him, but he wouldn't fix fights. He wouldn't engage in fixed fights and stuff. Ike wouldn't. Let's talk about Ike. Very interesting. Okay. Now, one of the greatest lightweight champions in boxing history, Ike Williams sealed his legacy without any help from the mobsters who oversaw boxing with an iron fist during his era. Now, unfortunately for Williams, his prime years coincided with the era that gangsters had a grasp on the sport and demanded a huge cut of a fighter's purse to advance their careers. But from his debut as a 17-year-old to becoming world champion in 1945, Williams held his head high and rejected the constant advances of these mobsters. However, in 1946, Williams faced the prospect of being blacklisted from the sport completely after losing his manager through a fallout. Notorious mafia member Frankie Carbo was quick to act, signing the lightweight champion to one of his questionable contracts and assigned his understudy, Blinky Palermo, to oversee dealings, right? Put Blinky in charge of his career. Now, offers to throw fights were still turned down by Williams. They were his managers. But the infamous mobsters were now able to bleed him dry of any earnings, right? In any other era, Williams would have undoubtedly have been a massive pay-per-view star and profited more prosperously, but he was still able to cement his position as an all-time great during the peak of the shady side of boxing. Yep, Ike Williams. Okay. Now let's look at some fights that was fixed by the Mafia. Okay. Look at some Mafia fixed. Some controversial fights, okay? These guys might have had a hand in it. Okay. Let's check that out. We're winding down. Let's check that out. I got 12 of the most controversial fights in boxing history. Yeah, 12 of the most controversial fights in the history of the sport, man. Let's look at it. I told you the music come up on its own. Remember I turned it down? Now it's back up again. That's crazy. Yeah, 12 of the most controversial fights in boxing history. Those guys on the screen had to have a hand in on these fights, man. They were terrible. They had the judges too. Yeah, they had the judges. Okay, let's look at it. Yeah, just leave them up there. Why not? I used that as a thumbnail last time I did a show on the Mafia. Now, the 12 all-time most controversial fights in boxing history. Now, no sport has courted as much scandal and public outrage as boxing. From dives and fixed fights to outrageous decisions. Not to mention the shady stuff behind closed doors with crooked promoters and our so-called sanctioning organizations. The fight game has always been fertile ground for double dealing and corruption. Controversial outcomes are just an intrinsic part of an enterprise. Sports writer Jimmy Cannon famously called the red light district of sports. That's what he called boxing, the red light district of sports. Okay, so let's look at some of these fights, man. Okay, number 12, Lulu Perez, second round TKO over Willie Pep, February 26, 1954. Pep swore this fight wasn't fixed. Okay. Now, former champion and acknowledged all-time great Willie Pep faced Perez in Madison Square Garden, and anyone paying close attention knew something was deeply wrong. Right? On the day of the fight, the wagering odds changed dramatically, with some bookies abruptly refusing to take bets. Clearly, the word was out that something was rotten at the Garden. Okay, now acknowledged defensive genius Pep was then decked 3 times in round 2, forcing an automatic stoppage. Willie Pep never get knocked down 3 times, man. But he went down 3 times in round 2, and the 3 knockdown rule was in effect, so the fight was stopped. And the arena was filled with boos and catcalls. Pep was immediately suspended by the State Athletic Commission, and all but the most naive realized the fix had to be in. Pep ever after insisted he did not throw the fight, but he sued. He had a suit against Sports Illustrated in 1980 because they wrote an article about him throwing the fight. And guess what? The jury came back against him in 15 minutes. They must have showed the jury the fight. BBO Boxing TV, what's up, BBO? We talked about Primo Carnera. Now we talk a little bit about the Mafia and fixed fights and stuff. See those guys? You know any of them, BBO? Them guys on the screen? They from Ohio. Yeah. Salute, BBO. Okay, let's talk about another fixed fight. Ad Walgas, 13th round knockout over Joe Rivers, July 4th, 1912. July 4th, 1912, Independence Day. Now, Walgast aka the Michigan Wildcat, was defending his world lightweight title in Vernon, California against the tenacious Rivers. And it was a crowd-pleasing, action-packed fight until round 13, when the two combatants connected with heavy, hurtful shots at precisely the same time. And the fighters collapsed in a heap. And referee Jack Welch started counting. Okay? Now, the referee started counting. Then, in an action regarded as inexplicable by all in attendance, the referee actually helped Wolgast to his feet as he finished the count and raised Wolgast's hand as winning the fight, completely ignoring the fact that Rivers was the one who had been felled by a vicious blow to the crown jewels, right? Welch briefly argued his case before wisely making a hasty exit as the dismayed crowd threatened a full-scale riot. In his dressing room, a distraught Rivers showed reporters a sizable dent in his aluminum protector cup, but to no avail, as Wolgast, who was renowned for aiming blows at his opponent's nether regions, remained the lightweight champion of the world. Did y'all hear that? These two guys went down at the same time. One of them landed a legal blow, the other one landed a low blow. The referee started counting. As he got to 10 count, he helped one of them up and finished counting the other guy out and raised the guy's hand as the champion. Actually helped him up. Isn't that crazy? And the steward that had to been them guys right there on the screen in that one. The referee helped the man up, and that fight stood. Wow, took the man's title, hit the man low, and got helped up by the referee and got the win. That's crazy. That is crazy. Now, Billy Fox, TKO over Jake LaMotta. We did that one. Okay, yeah, Jake took a dive. Admittedly took a dive. And that was the only time Jake ever got knocked down in his career. Right? The fight he took a dive in. Oh, you know Danny, BBO? Okay. Yeah. That was the only time Jake got knocked down in his career. The fight he took that dive in. Yeah. And he testified before Congress on an oath that he took a dive. Yeah, but that was crazy, wasn't it? The referee helped the man up and gave him the fight. Incredible. Okay. Louis Resto, 10-round decision over Billy Collins Jr., June 16th, 1983. I don't remember that one. Let's see. In one of the most disturbing and tragic episodes in ring history, Louis Resto battered prospect Billy Collins Jr. in Madison Square Garden for 10 rounds, with the equivalent of brass knuckles on both fists. Resto had only 8 knockouts in 19 wins and was not regarded as any kind of a dangerous puncher. But as early as round 2, his blows were leaving marks and welts on Collins' visage. During the fight, Collins told his father and trainer, Billy Collins Sr., that something just wasn't right with Resto's gloves. After the final bell, the elder Collins shook hands with Resto immediately, and he immediately knew his son's deduction was correct and summoned the attention of ringside officials, right? The gloves were inspected, and it was determined that much of their horsehair padding had been removed, okay? Decades later, a remorseful Resto claimed that in addition to the tampering of the gloves, his hand wraps had been soaked in plaster. Collins suffered a battering so vicious, he was barely recognizable after the fight, and the damage to his eyes meant an immediate end to his boxing career. Both Resto and his trainer, guess who his trainer was? Panama Lewis, the one they gave the Hawk the black bottle? Yeah. Both Resto and his trainer, Panama Lewis, were criminally charged for the incident and eventually banned from boxing. Less than a year later, a despondent Collins died in a car accident. Wow. Primo Carnera versus Jack Sharkey, 1933. Now, we didn't cover this fight in the show. Wow, missed it. But let's look at it. Two factors made the rematch between Sharkey and Carnera highly controversial. First, by this point, the fact that Primo was controlled by the mob and that many of his wins were, to say the least, suspect, was widely accepted. Second, Sharkey, a highly skilled boxer with wins over Johnny Risco, Tommy Loughran, and Harry Wills, to his credit, had defeated Carnera by a wide margin when they had met in 1931, completely dominating the fight over 15 rounds and coming close at more than 1 point to stopping Primo. And yet, the betting odds for the rematch were strangely close, with reports from some quarters that Carnera was viewed as the favorite after he got dominated in the first fight. So that was odd. Despite the significant disadvantages in height, reach, and weight, Sharkey again had the edge until round 6 when Carnera landed an uppercut that put Sharkey on the canvas in a heap. He barely moved as he was counted out. The outcome was viewed as suspicious from the start, and speculation only intensified as time passed. Oh my goodness, what happened? Oh, wait a minute. I don't know what I did. Here we go, we're back. Oh my goodness. Yeah, my bad. I hit the wrong button, but we're back. That was Jack. Yeah, he dominated the man in the first fight. Then the second fight, strangely, some people had Carnera favored. And Sharkey was doing the same thing again, being dominant, until all of a sudden he got knocked out. Very suspicious. Very suspicious. Here we go. Yeah, Sharkey was dominating him again. All of a sudden in round 6, Carnera landed an uppercut that put Sharkey on the canvas, and he barely moved while he was counted out. And the outcome was viewed as suspicious from the start, and speculation only intensified as time passed, and more became known about the extent of the corruption behind Carnera's career. Sharkey insisted until his dying day the fight was on the level, but this is one heavyweight title fight that will always be controversial. Yeah, always. Thomas Hill, hashtag JBT, in the building. What's up, Thomas Hill? What time is it? Oh my goodness. Oh, 3:45. Yeah, okay, I'm glad you came in. And where's my pen at? Yeah, let me drop the thing in. You be winding down. Yeah, we got to get some link time. I didn't realize where we were at. It's 3:45. Let me drop the link in here. We was just talking about some controversial fights. Thank you, T Hill. I was rolling, man. Lost track of time. Yeah, I always let some of my people come up and finish the show off with me. We only had a couple more to go. Let me get it. We're gonna get like 10 minutes. Damn. My bad. Why did somebody say something? Somebody did say something. T Hill said something. I would have looked up. It would have been 4:00. Yeah. Okay. Link coming up, man. Wasn't that something though about the referee helped the guy up? After he hit the guy low and the other guy landed a legitimate shot and they both went down. It didn't look like either one of them was getting up. So the referee helped one of them up and gave him the win. And they're going to try to defend that. Come on, referee. You was paid off. Probably related to Tony Weeks and Richard Steele. Those two known cheaters. Tony Weeks and Richard Steele. And Harvey Dock, too. Now, who's I hope we don't have Tony Weeks or Harvey Dock doing this fight tomorrow. Anybody know who the referee is tomorrow for David versus David? Please don't be Tony Weeks or Harvey Dock. I might not even watch it, man, because you know something going to happen. Something always happens when we got one of them clowns refereeing the fight, man. Call it like I see it. Look at Pitbull and Rolly. Look at Pitbull and Rolly, man. There it is, T Hill. No, not Pitbull and Rolly. Rolly and Barroso. The man wasn't even hurt. I think the man hurt Rolly. And Tony Weeks stopped the fight and gave it to Barroso. No, stopped the fight and gave it to Rolly. Remember? Yeah. So Tony Weeks is a cheater, ain't he, T Hill? I think he is. Who's refereeing tomorrow? You know, T Hill?
Actually, I don't.
Okay.
But if I put money on it, I would say it's probably my man.
Who is that?
What's the white dude name?
Oh, the young guy. I like him.
Yeah, I like him. I like him, and I like my man with the eyes.
Yeah.
Those are two refs that I actually, I don't mind them doing anything.
They call it straight, man, straight up and down.
Yeah.
They don't play.
So I'm hoping that
they mean it. They don't play in there.
Yeah, I'm hoping that that's actually who is that officiating that night, man. Because that way, those are the two best right now. It's going.
I can't think of either of their names. Oh, damn.
I can't right now. I know one of them is, I think, Tony.
Tony, yeah. But I know exactly who you're talking about, though. Yeah. I hope it's one of them. That'll be nice.
Those are the two.
The other guy neither. The older guy, the older white guy, Jack Reese. I hope it ain't him. I don't like him too much neither. Jack Reese. You know what I'm talking about?
He used to be good, but
yeah,
he do some stuff that's like
changed.
Kind of cagey.
They let you know money involved, T Hill, when it changed up.
Like,
Because Tony Weeks is a very good referee too, so you can tell money involved in some of them decisions he be making. Because he's too, like that Rolly Barroso fight, Tony Weeks is too good of a referee to stop a fight like that. Didn't need to be stopped like that, man. He had to be paid to do that, I think. Yeah. Did we lose Thomas Hill? Yeah, I think Tony. Yeah, Tony is an excellent referee. So yeah, but the young guy, young white guy. I can't say, and the black guy with the eyes. They are two. I hope it's one of them two. I would call them like the two best right now. Right now, those two, and I can't think of either of their names. T. Hill said Tony. T. Hill talking about Tony Weeks. That's the one we don't want. No, please. No. Tony Weeks, is some foul play involved somewhere. And Harvey Dock. Henry. Anybody know the name? Al Booker probably know. What's the referee's names we talking about, AB? The youngest white guy and the black guy with the eyes. Like they popping out of his head. What's their names? Somebody? Oh man, I can't think of them. I cannot think of the names. Sounds like somebody came up. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, Jarrell. There we go. What's up, Jarrell? Look like we lost T Hill. What's happening, Jarrell?
What's up with you?
Not too much.
See you.
Getting ready for tomorrow.
Yeah.
The big fight.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Who's refereeing, nobody knows who's refereeing.
I don't know.
Me neither.
I was wondering who won the undercard. You said Riley on there?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all. It's not like that one on the 22nd Bivol and Benavides. I'm gonna find out right now who on the undercard though. It should be something good. Oh, I was looking at the press conference yesterday, but I can't remember none of the names now. Did you see the press conference yesterday? It was some pretty good ones.
No, I ain't see the press conference. I gotta go back and watch that.
Yeah.
I know the way it's happening right now. And they don't.
Oh, it is? Okay. Yeah. And then that's it. This fight.
Yeah.
You said you had Benavides, right?
Yeah, I got Benavides.
You sitting, or you think you're gonna stop him?
I think he's gonna stop him.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't feel like Morrell can't do nothing to prepare for this opponent. I think he's gonna get overwhelmed.
Yeah, I think it's kind of early for him too. I'm big on experience too, man. What do you got? 11 fights?
Yeah.
I think you need a little bit more experience. Get up there because he going straight from prospect to the champion. He got to get up there and fight some contenders and stuff,
Yeah, they
He haven't really been in no big fights. Oh, Cool Boy, Figueroa and Cool Boy on the undercard, y'all. Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be a good one.
Pitbull on there too. Not bad.
Who he fighting?
He fighting Angel Ferrero. I don't know too much about him.
I think I heard about him before.
Okay. And then it's a bunch of not no really other big name, but those three good ones right there. Pitbull and Figueroa and Cool Boy's the rematch, remember?
Yeah, I know that's gonna be a good one.
I'd rather see Cool Boy box more this time. You know how he fought him last time up in the pocket?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's gonna win that kind of fight again, because that's Figueroa's fight, man, So yeah.
I mean, as long as he good, as long as he don't got no, he ain't punch drunk or nothing like that, I think he's gonna be good. As long as he ain't shit.
Yeah.
Cool Boy got it for real.
He got one under his belt since that monster loss, he had to get another because that was bad, man. That monster. That was bad.
Yeah.
Define Arnie, what's happening? Oh, I didn't bring him up.
How you guys doing?
Okay, how you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. Just wanted to say hi. It's been a minute.
My bad, fellas. I was over there talking to somebody. Somebody came over there and was talking to me, so I had to put it on mute.
Okay.
Yeah, so I apologize about that.
I gotta ask Define Arnie who he got tomorrow.
Oh, Define Honor, he got Benavides now. He got Morrell.
You got Morrell?
Morrell, TKO round 5.
Ooh, early. Damn, round
He going.
I am going for it. That's for sure.
Ooh, round 5.
And this is no way. No way am I saying this in a negative about Benavides. Bro. I actually love Benavides. I just think that this guy is something else.
Man, okay. You just think
I'll say this. Anyone that loses to me shouldn't be a big deal anyway. Any other two that loses to me shouldn't be a big deal whatsoever.
It shouldn't be. But we know that dynamics play a big part in everything. A lopsided loss will definitely not go over well. And I'm saying for both of them, because one will be like, see, he wasn't proven, he wasn't ready, he was overrated. The other one, you know what, he was never good because he didn't really fight nobody. So unfortunately, that will be the narrative no matter what happens and transpires. In all actuality, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this with surety because we've broken it down many times. Anybody who believes that Benavides is not skilled, they crazy insane. But if you don't believe it, all you gotta do is pick any one of his fights, and then just play at half speed and watch a lot of the stuff that he does. He does a lot of good stuff inside there, a lot of stuff that comes with experience, comes with good training, and you notice that he is not above. So he reminds me of Covey in this vein. He is not too big enough, and he's humble enough to say, look, you know more than me. What do you think about this? How should you approach this? what happens when this is done? And he listens and he takes it and he quickly applies it. So that makes him dangerous because he has no ego when it comes to learning.
Right.
Now, I do believe that he is.
You're right.
You said what?
No, I said you're right. I was agreeing with you.
Now, I do believe that he is getting a little bit bothered by Morrell and his actions. The way he's like, you don't take this serious enough, and you think everything's funny. You won't be laughing when it comes to ring.
Right.
And you know, I'm reminded of that Baumgartner. What's her name? She's Olympic medalist.
Slim girl.
The girl who liked brothers.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't think of her name, please.
Yeah, the one who had a fallout with the coach because he was
her.
Right. training some other girl. So yeah. She was so bothered by the fact that old girl was smiling, bringing a belt that didn't apply to the ring and things like that. Right. It was getting to her psyche, man. So she was more engaged with things outside of the ring than inside of the ring. Okay. And I don't know if that will be something that plagues Benavidez because he's getting too. He might be one of those cats when you get upset, he gets better.
Could be.
So we'll see. I know Morrell has very good athleticism, very good movement. He just doesn't apply it well. His application is not always the best, but this is his biggest fight and his biggest test. And this is a fight. I mean, I'm telling you right now, I don't really respond well to name calling, but you keep calling me female genitalia. You know, when I get a chance to put my hands on you, I'm going to truly put my hands on you.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you that I'm not what you say I am. So
that's for damn sure.
So I think that, I think him being calm and reserved, he ain't forgot none of that. I think he, that's going to propel him as well as he's got athleticism and talent, natural talent. So we'll see if he's actually got a plan together because, if I ask his people that actually contact him and work with him in the gym and they say they train for that stuff, they know what he's going to do and they feel like they got a plan in place and that his natural skill set, his natural athleticism and his natural ability, his punching power is going to be the difference. So we're going to see. Because if you go in there, if you go in there playing with Benavidez, it's like playing with fire.
And you know what else? You can watch Benavidez fights and see him getting better, man. You don't see him.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's whatever they talk about, he applies it to his game. You can see that he's honing his craft. Mm-hmm. So that RoboCop stuff that they're thinking, if they're really truly thinking that, they're gonna be in for. I mean, but look, RoboCop in the movie, wasn't he effective? He was more effective than the whole damn squad. So is that really a bad thing, bro? Like, really, when we talk about it, I'm just saying. But I got Morrell by late stoppage.
Okay.
That being said, but I can see it swinging totally the other way. I can see Morrell putting him into deep waters and seeing how he gonna respond. So it's a great fight all the way around.
That's Amazon Prime, right?
That's Amazon Prime, baby boy.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I got Cool Boy. I got Cool Boy in that fight, man. I think that Cool Boy, he's got a chance to redeem his career, man. And I think he's going to take full advantage, man. I think he's going to take it like a whole bag of bottles, man. Go take it to the dang recycle bin and cash in. He's about to recycle that L and that close victory.
Let me ask you this. You think he should box more this time or fight the same fight?
I think he should mix it up. I think he really should mix it up. See, I believe like the bull, you go to them parties and they on that mechanical bull.
Yeah.
When it's going at a steady pace, they can adjust to it. But when he stops it, then boom, 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 boom.
Right.
They like get him off balance. I think he has to do that, man. And I think that in that first fight, he did exceptional work inside. I mean, I thought it also brought him closer to Figueroa, but I think that Figueroa did better when he was a little bit more spaced and coming to him. So I think he definitely has to mix it up. He actually boxed
this time, T-Hill. Yeah, I mixed it up. Yeah, I don't think he beat him just totally with that inside phone booth this time. No, he got to mix it up. Got to
mix it up. Keep it on it. I believe that was the mistake that Hammer Lubin made when he fought Fundora. Like he was winning the fight, and then he just decided to engage in his fight.
Fundora
and I mean, it was ugly after that.
You know, Fundora is heavy-handed.
Fundora is heavy-handed, and
with all that reach, he loved fighting and stuff. You know, I like Mike Grimm says. I'm with Mike Grimm. Dominating decision for Benavidez.
My bad. Yeah.
I can see that happening for sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case though, man, because Benavidez is a tremendous boxer. I'm not of the thought now. Like you catch him about 6 fights ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, you had a point to some of the things he did, but even in that, he was still crafty enough to outwork you, outmaneuver you, and overwhelm you.
Yeah.
It's truly, that's going to be, will he be able to do those things to Morrell? And if so, what is Morrell going to do to respond? That is the biggest question.
Yeah,
that is the biggest question. So when Mike Ram said that, I truly believe that truly is a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a knockout coming this way, but I can see a stoppage.
Mm-hmm.
I can see a stoppage, just putting too many punches together without nothing coming back.
Yeah, I can see that late.
I could see that. Both. I'm going see my man Define Irony. He's a little bit more brazen with his pick than I am. Yeah, 5. That means he's peppering his ass, or he catches him with something he just truly wasn't aware of.
He's gonna jump on him.
But later on down the line, it's just, hey, I didn't gave you a whole bunch of it, and now it's just a culmination of this stuff, and it's just become too much. The ref gonna have to stop it, or I'm gonna put a stop to it. So I don't know. I see it working in that vein, but I wouldn't be shocked if it was that way, because my man Morrell does have power to decapitate, to take you from your orientation. So we gonna see, man. We getting a fight, and that's what I'm really happy about. We getting a fight.
You know what I think? I think maybe I'm going crazy here, but I really think we might see some of Hagler Hearns here. Think about it. Benavidez is Benavidez mothers you, right? That's his thing, right? I'm not saying they're exactly the same, but my thing with this is that Morrell, you know, his style. I know he's a southpaw and everything, but I think we might see some of that on this fight. Honestly, that's what I'm coming about my prediction about this.
The beginning going to be key too. How it starts, you know. How well does Morrell start?
Y'all saying the only chance Morrell got to win is to clip him and devastate him like that?
No, I'm saying the best chance for him to take the victory would be to do that. I think that if he puts enough pepper on him, it's like if you have a piece of steak, a little bit of pepper make that steak right. But if you put too much on it, it become hard to digest and stomach. I think if he puts a whole lot. You said what now?
Can Morrell get a decision?
I believe he could. I believe it's not the most likely of situations, because that means it went 12, and in order for him to do that, he would have to bang him early, and pause for the pause community. He would have to hit him early and often,
right,
to just wear him down and take a lot of what he does away. See, that's the thing. Who can take what the other does away? That's how it goes decision.
Yeah.
But if it's just punching, you say what now?
I feel like I don't know what Benavidez, like you said, Morrell team said they know what he's going to do. Like, I feel like how you know what Benavidez going to do, like that don't make sense to me.
Yeah, they just talking. I don't believe that.
I feel like Morrell don't have much to take away other than like you just got to watch out for power shots.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there are fights that show that Morrell is a crafty fighter. It's just that most of the time, I'm a raw dog you. You know what I'm saying? And you can't go in there with Benavidez trying to raw dog you. You got to set stuff up. See, because that's what Benavidez does. He sets everything up. He gives you a little bit of illusion of this, so I can get this off. Oh, you're not protecting this? Let me touch you here so I can really get your focus over there so I can really take advantage of this. And he's got to be ready for that, bro. Like, I'm going to be honest. He's the better boxer right now.
I wouldn't be surprised if he do Morrell like he did Andrade. I would be the least bit surprised if he get him out of there.
The thing with that is, man, you know, Andrade was a big part of that as well, too, because Andre came in there at 190, bro. He ain't never been 190 outside the ring. Why would you go into the ring 190? So even when you're having success, you're just like a tip. You know those clocks? Yeah, I'll show you the clock I'm talking about. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, that was crazy, man.
You see this in the chat right there? Underneath Mike Ron?
Let me see. Yeah, I see it.
That sucker only got a limited space before it go and start ringing. When you come in like that, you only got a limited space before that gas tank starts to buzz. That light come on, and it ain't nothing.
Mike Grimm said he don't think Morrell is a better boxer than Plant. I don't think so either. I didn't think Benavidez was a better boxer than Plant. And then in that fight, I will say that Plant did end up eventually out overtaking him, but I do want to make the caveat that elbow to the head was a lot to do with the disorientation. And then once you couple that with the pressure that he began to put on him after that subsequently, it was a whole lot to overcome. But he was banging Plant with some good shots, and Plant still was able to go the distance. Plant a lot more experience.
You know what I think?
That's a good
case. Plant got a lot
My
more
question is,
go ahead, Define. What do you say?
Does Morrell have the power to keep Benavidez honest? That to me is the bigger question. It's the big question because that's the thing. Like, I love the analogy with Bubu Andrade, right? But Bubu clearly didn't have the power to keep David honest.
That's right.
Unfortunately. But if Morrell has the power to keep David honest, it's going to be interesting to see how David can react to that.
Adjust. That's right. Yeah.
So that's another
Have we ever seen Morrell hurt though? I know he don't got that many fights, but like,
I don't think so.
I haven't seen him hurt, but I've seen him a little bit wobbled before. Not hurt, but something knocked him off balance. And I think that was because of the way he had his feet.
Yeah.
Which is dangerous because all you gotta do is touch the canvas. You touch the canvas off of a punch, that's a 10-8 round right there.
Yeah. Long as
you can't take 10-8 round.
What touch? That's a knockdown. You know?
Yeah, you can't take a 10-8 round to Benavidez because, you know, then it becomes the illusion. Now I'm pressing. What if you can't stop him from pressing at that moment? Then the momentum switched. Because that's what happened to the Plant fight. Once the momentum switched, it was like the light got flipped on. The light was turned off on one side of the room, but then on this side of the room, the light came on. And that bad boy, you know how when you first turn the light on, it's kind of dim, it's muted, but as it burns, it gets brighter and brighter. That's Benavidez. That's Benavidez. You can't let him turn that light on because after that, it gets brighter and brighter and brighter.
Yeah,
that pressure becomes more and more intense.
You're in trouble, right, Teal? You can't make it that light dim. You're in trouble.
Yeah, you in big trouble, and that's the reality. And the one thing that shakes my confidence in Morrell somewhat is the fact that it doesn't seem like him nor his team is paying attention to this. Like Benavidez is not some Frankenstein Herman Monster type boxer. He just doesn't look effective, but he's very effective.
Look like they never faced nothing like Benavidez before. You know.
Yeah. No, that's a factual statement. But I mean, has Benavidez faced anybody like Morrell? That would be the other thing that we would have to try to factor in.
More skilled fighters than Morrell. Like Caleb and Andre is more skilled than Morrell. And what's the last dude he fought? At 175, the last dude he fought. That type of size is like similar to Morrell's size.
That scale is tilted in Benavidez' favor for sure.
Yeah. Caleb, and I would also say the real Andrade. Like I said, man, I think Andrade was the fact that he's skilled, but he kind of diminished his skills with his conditioning coming in there like that. And you know how it is, man. You've been in the ring when you're tired. Matter of fact, we watched your fight. You said, man, you was breathing through your mouth. And you saw how your efficiency went down.
And you know
Your
what?
activity went down. So you know when you going through it and you got somebody coming at you and they don't seem to be stopping, that's mentally taxing too. So another thing that favors
And you know
factors
what else?
heavily in Benavidez.
Benavidez has been in there with more different styles and more experienced fighters, way more than the Burrell had too. I'm big on experience, man. You know, he just has
That's
seen
for
way so much more than Burrell, man. You know,
I am too,
because
but
you know
sure.
when he react in certain
we do got to
situations.
recall. We do got to recall. See, we was asked this question on another channel, but we do got to recall Mike Tyson, Buster Douglas.
Oh,
Mike
yeah.
Tyson had tremendous experience, tremendous ring disparity, and everything that he had fought against his opponents. Buster Douglas was relatively unknown.
Yeah, but he had the best
But-
fight of his life. That
Yeah, through
He was never
adversity.
showing.
Through adversity, he get. Now I will say that I still contend that he lost that fight off of a extended count. But once he got back up,
you and Don King.
Mike wasn't in his right headspace too. We got to factor that, and that's why I say, is Benavidez the type of fighter that when he gets aggravated, he gets better? Because there are some people, you get them pissed, they make you pay. Jordan,
Yes.
Kobe,
Yeah,
Holyfield, bro.
Larry
Holyfield.
Bird.
Well, see, now Holyfield, my guy. Like Holyfield, my guy. No, I swear, I swear to you, man. Holyfield, James Toney, Roy Jones. I loved me some Mayweather. I loved me some Sugar Shane. But Sugar Shane, Mayweather, two different stratospheres. You know what I'm saying? Even Roy Jones and James Toney. James Toney is so much more a masterful craftsman in that ring. What Roy Jones has is craftsmanship, but he has great ability.
Right.
And sometimes that ability just overtakes.
That's what happened.
Sometimes it's just the preparation. Sometimes it's the hard work. Sometimes it's just like, I'm going to gut it out. There are true Rocky sensations that happen in the ring. And then we got to factor in who does the money favor. We know who the money favor.
Mm-hmm.
So going to decision, it's going to be tough for Morrell because the money truly is behind Benavidez. The buzz is truly behind Benavidez. The biggest fight is truly behind Benavidez.
Yeah.
So he got to know, like, if I'm in his corner, I'm telling him, like, yo, we can't treat this guy like no bum. He's no bum. He's rightfully earned his spot where he is. In fact, he should have gotten a Canelo fight a long time ago.
Yeah.
He's being fast-tracked to possibly make that fight happen. Now, just think about it. The winner goes and fights the winner of Beterbiev and Bivol and win. You know Canelo's coming for that belt, especially if it's one of the three, not Beterbiev.
I'm getting ready to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he messed with Beterbiev.
You have to get it from
I
Beterbiev.
feel like in a million years.
Better off with Better Beef, like, or Benavidez, because Bivol, he faced Bivol. Bivol's style,
He beat
like,
him.
more like stick and move.
He'll do the
He
same
lost
thing
that
to him
fight.
again. Yeah.
And I feel like Benavidez and them should be calling out Better Beef or Bivol and
Yeah.
not as much Canelo. I know they want the money, but like y'all at that weight class, like what about Bivol and Better Beef? Like
That's the more
that's what y'all
realistic.
need to be worried
You're
about
right.
at that weight class is them.
Yeah.
No.
Bivol already beat Canelo.
Yeah,
And
but
you
people
beat
still
Bivol,
will.
and you can say like I beat him. You couldn't beat him, and I
Exactly.
No, I hear you, but it's the draw of Canelo, bro. Like, it makes sense, but it's just the draw of Canelo. Like, Canelo, it's only really truly now, only two people that command the viewing public. You know, somewhere along the line, Errol lost that. But Tank still gonna command people watching this fight, mainly because people want to see him lose. Canelo still commands the fight because he's the biggest attraction in boxing still.
But he ain't gonna fight
Still
nobody. You know?
Doesn't even matter. He's still gonna be the biggest attraction in boxing. Like, he's gonna do 500,000.
Them call him out, but he know he's not gonna fight him. So he did right. Move on, man.
So look.
Like,
This is why I say what I say.
You know,
Who's a bigger fight, Canelo versus Bivol, Canelo versus Beterbiev, or Morrell versus Bivol or Beterbiev, or Benavidez versus Bivol or Beterbiev.
I feel like
Canelo's a big
Canelo
fight,
versus
but he's not
Beterbiev
gonna
is the
fight
biggest
nobody
out of
though.
all of them.
So,
Any of them fighting Canelo is the biggest, but like
right.
Canelo versus Beterbiev, I feel like on low key that'll draw the most attraction.
Yeah,
Like
that
people
would.
would love
That
to see
would.
Canelo
You
fight.
think Beterbiev Canelo draws more attraction than Benavidez Canelo?
I
Yeah,
think so.
only cause just cause of the styles, and I think people ain't talking about it. But if people like start finding out about Beterbiev style against, that's tailor made for Canelo, but he just big though. But like if he was smaller, then everybody would say Canelo would beat him, cause he just gonna be right there for Canelo to hit him though.
And
Like who you think got more of a chance of beating Beterbiev, like Canelo or Benavidez? I don't know.
That's a good
Damn.
question, bro. That's a real good question. You got to be able to take a punch for sure. And you got to be willing to throw. I mean, the reason why that fight went the way it went between the first fight between Bivol and Beterbiev is because after a while getting touched, he decided
Yeah.
that I'm not willing to risk that
yeah,
because
but Wall, yeah,
it hurts.
down the
It's a
champ.
different type of pop.
Yes, sir.
So it becomes then who, because you're gonna have to exchange, and more
Yeah.
times than not to get him, you're gonna have to punch in between the punch. That's why many people say that, hey, Crawford got a chance. Crawford is strong. Crawford is efficient. He's pinpoint. His jab is his real natural hand. So, he's going to be hitting harder with his jab, and he can get in between punches. Sounds good until you get punched.
Yeah, but you know what? That Beterbiev Bivol fight was a perfect example of offense being defense because Beterbiev's offense limited Bivol from throwing punches in the championship round. He was nah.
That's a great point too, Kaz, because that's truly the truest indication of how that fight played out. You got a person that's used to throwing a whole lot of punches, throw a sheep ton of punches less than what he normally does.
You got tired of getting hit.
Why is that the case?
Mm-hmm.
And if that is the case, why do you favor him in the win? If the person that does what he does normally did it, and the person that normally does what he does in the ring didn't do it, there's a reason behind it.
Bivol either gonna outpoint him or get knocked out. He got to throw them punches. He got to let his hands go this time, man.
I actually rooting for Bivol.
Yeah, Bivol. He got to go ahead and risk it. He can't get hesitant this time, man.
Yeah, he gotta be willing.
You're not gonna win if your output go down like that again.
And I say that because of how fantastic a boxer Beterbiev is that he doesn't get the credit for. Like he is Benavidez. Like people just look at him and it don't look oppressive, but he's just that much out the way, that much quick enough, and it's deceiving because it doesn't look like he's moving fast. Doesn't look like he's moving far enough. So you think he's there, and then you miss. And then voila.
Oh, Mike, you're making some good
people
points,
are mistaking being a great boxer with being aesthetically pleasing. I think that's spot on. I have a question for you, T Hill. I had this suspicion for quite some time. I suspected that like Team Morrell is for some reason overlooking Benavidez. Do you think that's true, bro? Because I see him like laughing all the time, and I'm like, hang on a second. I get it that you're confident, but you have an animal in front of you, bro. Like, are you realizing this? I mean, it's like,
yeah.
No, I think you're spot on, and that's what worries me the most because Benavidez is nobody to play with. And if you think he's not what he is, then he's already got you beat.
Yeah,
you're not expecting it. So when it happens, it's like gonna catch you by surprise. There's nothing that you're preparing for, and that's why I had conversations with one of his camp. Like, yo, you recognize that this dude is this. Yeah, all that. He said it was all cute and whatnot. I was like, nothing about him is cute. It's effective. And you don't think that it's effective, then that's where you go wrong.
You're going to get your ass whooped thinking like that.
Yeah.
So that's the one.
Want to fight what he up against. It's going to be too late. That's not a good time to find out.
Yeah, exactly, because then there's nothing to do. And if you don't have anything, if you don't believe it to be, So then how are you going to, unless you're like really, really skilled in that corner and know how to make adjustments on the fly, and your fighter is able to
Gotta
take
see
what
that
you
out
say
there,
in a
man.
moment, yeah.
Yep.
He got to be able to take
Yep.
what you say in a moment and be able to put it in the ring. And he got to do this against her adversity. That's a whole lot to ask somebody.
With 11 fights.
He seemed like he never been tested in his life when it come to fighting.
Mhm.
Like he always just easily wins.
At this level, too. At this level, man. You know?
The one thing that they said that I truly agree with, it's kind of hard to watch your mom sacrifice food so that you can eat. It's kind of hard to be in a place where because of your skin tone or your skin complexion or your skin color, you get targeted and treated unfairly. And then it's kind of hard to hit that ocean and swim for your freedom. Get on a little bitty boat and try to go across a big tide ocean and whatnot. So, that adversity is real. And that's something that can help him endure some of the harshness. But what about what it takes to get through it? You just can't grit that out. You're going to have to find something to stem the tide. Do you have something to stem the tide with if you don't recognize that there's a tide in the first place? It's like the tsunami. The tsunami looks like it's nothing when it's first coming.
Yeah.
Until that really hits you.
So low key,
and then it's too late.
It's too late.
Yeah, it's too late at that point.
Oh, he Cuban, matter of fact. Ain't
It's on you.
Yo, you guys remember the one that hit was that the Philippines or Thailand?
I think it was Thailand.
I think it was
You remember
Indonesia or
how
something like that.
they just noticed that the water was coming up a little higher, then it came up a little bit more higher.
Yeah.
Then they saw a little wave that looked like a little wave, but that sucker just kept coming.
Kept coming.
By the time they started running, it was too late because the next one that came,
Yeah.
it pushed a whole lot of water up in there. That's a lot of water out there.
Man, you're really good with the analogies, man. You're like, damn, it's like it's perfect.
But doesn't that fit the situation? If you're not prepared for it, and you don't recognize what it is, how can you ever adjust to it? Like them people sat there and thought things was cool.
No, we can't.
To me, the telltale sign is when you see birds fly or any kind of animal just start shooting out of the way. They know something innately that we don't. They can sense that stuff. There was birds flying. They didn't even look at it. See, I see stuff like that. Well, I come from a different area, so I got to pay attention to my surroundings. But I see stuff like that, and I'm like, yo. But at that point in time, the way it came, how far could they have gone? That stuff pushed buildings. It shook buildings. Yeah. It tore buildings down. It pushed cars. You imagine the force that it's bringing? Mm-hmm. You try to go move a car that's got its brakes right there. On that ground. And I'm talking about before it got real huge. It was pushing cars, just the force alone. Mother Nature not to be played with. Playing with fire in the ring is something you don't play with.
Yeah. But look at fellas, we gotta go. We're gonna get ready to get on up out of here.
Oh no. I'm gonna let everybody else close. So I've been talking too much.
Yeah, I just want to say Monday we can be here, but we're gonna drop the link early Monday. We're gonna have a lot to talk about Monday, so we're gonna get some early link time Monday.
I just wanted to say though.
Go ahead, y'all.
No, I was just saying y'all ain't saying nothing about Caressa about the fight. This is her first fight at heavyweight, right?
Oh yeah, that's tomorrow, right? Not tomorrow.
That's Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
Yeah,
but if Kaz feel like talking a little bit longer, we could definitely discuss that.
No, I ain't trying to get out. I'm just saying.
I gotta get out. Yeah.
I was about to say I favor. Well, I'll just say this: I favor Clarissa, but if Perkins can put some punches together, I think she can't hurt. I mean, like with that being said, the more polished fighter is clearly Clarissa Shields. So like if things hold serve, you can favor her.
Yeah, you know that.
So you take that. Also, watching that way.
This for a heavyweight belt, right? The one she just got.
I think so, yeah.
So I mean,
Layla out of retirement after this. If she win this fight, Layla got to come out of retirement.
See now that right there, I don't know. I wouldn't advise Layla. How old is Layla?
I don't know.
George Foreman, how old was he when he came back? Yeah.
I feel you, but Foreman was a rare breed, bro. Did you see Foreman running up the hill with a Volkswagen on his back?
Yes,
I saw that. Yeah.
Yo, I mean, I know you were training. I know you train hard. Try to run up a hill with a with a Volkswagen on your back.
And it looked
He
bigger
was
than the
going,
Volkswagen was. Foreman
man,
was bigger.
man. You see how wide my man's shoulders was?
Mhm.
He
Yeah.
had that thing around his
How
waist, and
old
he
was
was
he
pulling
when
over.
he did? How old was Foreman when he did that?
That's a special human being.
42.
You
I
can't
think
use
he
that
was
as an example.
42.
His career, right? The second time. Yeah.
But I hear what he's saying, man. I love me. See, for me, I don't know where to side because everybody gonna tell their truth. But I don't believe none of these fighters are scared to fight one another.
Nah, they not scared.
I
I
believe
agree.
that they're hesitant or reluctant to give up their spot because
They've
they
been
know
doing
how
this since
fickle us
2012.
fans are.
Yeah, they're not scared. You know,
But with that, I'm gonna let you guys close up. I've
No
been
way.
talking far too much.
they've been doing
I
it
just
since
want
they
to say about Team Morrell, one thing. If they're really making that mistake, then I might be like overrating Morrell because I just don't feel like that's a mistake you can make at this level, bro. Like
Nah,
Yeah,
I hope.
that would be really like awful, like disappointing stuff.
yeah, that'd be an epic proportions.
Yeah.
That's
And,
why I
and then
think
that 5 round could be the other way around.
Jarrell still here?
Yes.
Yeah, my man
that's
still
why
here.
I think it's happened. My
You
fault.
can
I ain't
last
mean to keep going though. Like peace and blessings. Y'all stay up.
until he'll gonna take
The
us out.
nephew Ja. Salute to the nephew Ja. You know, them gloves that's in that picture is for a reason. That man's a champ in life and a champ in the ring. We got define irony. You know, that brother went at the drop of a hat, go up inside a venue and report the things that he see in the ring and outside the ring. So shout out to the Puerto Rican Poppy, the good brother Cash Sports. You know what I'm saying? The box historian, the one who gives you boxing from a historical point of view. Shout out to the good brother Mike Rim, the fisherman. Shout out also to BBO Boxing TV if he's still in here. That's my God, Mike Magic, the champ, Melanin Queen, the greatest moderator there was. Kensaw Love, she's all about that family thing. The Professor Al Booger, can't forget him. Funk or die, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta hit that funk or you know what's gonna happen. My man, Morrell better be on that funk or die mission because if he not, he might be in some bad. No, the better half, Miss Cash. We always want to send a special blessing to her. And to the voice, Just Do Boxing, and to you who just watching, as they say, you on your voyeur mode, you know, just listening in, hit the like button, hit the subscription button, and we'll see you on the next go around where you get a historical sense. God bless.
And with that, we out of here. Thomas Hill, Define Arnie, Jarrell Hattie on the panel. I'm Cass Sports. Have a good weekend.